Let's start. Last day we were discussing about how to check the results of photosynthesis process. Actually, I said that photosynthesis process will create food inside the leaf in the plant, and we can test this because this whatever the food created after the photosynthesis, basically glucose, it's converted to starch, right? Starch, and we can test starch with iodine because iodine will turn into dark blue color when starch present. So they are, by doing that, we can identify whether starch is there. So we understood how to remove the chlorophyll, the green color from this leaf, because it will help you clearly see the color. Because if green color is there, even you put iodine, so it's like the color that you are generating is not really clear. That's why you have to boil this, and after boiling in alcohol and remove this green color chlorophyll from the leaf. Right? We did this practical. We explained this practical last day. Right. Anyway, in the photosynthesis process, we learned so carbon dioxide is absorbed through air, and water is also absorbed through the root system, and that is there in in the plant, inside the plant, transported using xylems. And then when light present, when sunlight present, or similar light source present, similar to sunlight, using the chlorophyll in basically chlorophyll in leaves, but the thing is sometimes it can be there in stem too. It will be converted to glucose. Carbon dioxide and water will be converted to glucose, and as a byproduct, oxygen is released. We saw how to see this, how to identify this glucose by testing for starch, and also how to identify oxygen. So both experiments we have discussed last day. So this is used in aquatic plants to identify oxygen, and this can be tested using a flame because oxygen is kind of a gas which is supporting fire. Therefore, you can see bright flame when oxygen presents. Okay, so this, yes, then we learn the usages of the photosynthesis, and in 11.2, we have to learn how the materials are transported inside the plants. So there are biological processes transporting water as well as transporting water, air, and food. How this is done in the plants. So here you can see some examples are given. Transportation of atmospheric air through the stomata to cells of the leaves. Stomata we have learned, we saw that, so it can be seen using a microscope. That's in leaves. So that is kind of tiny holes. So using the stomata, it is transported to cells of the leaves. That is how oxygen is absorbed. That is how carbon dioxide is absorbed. Both oxygen and carbon dioxide need to be absorbed. Why? Why we need both oxygen and carbon dioxide in plants? What's the reason? Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why we need both oxygen and carbon dioxide in plants? Need to absorb both oxygen. So carbon dioxide, you know, it is for photosynthesis. So oxygen, why oxygen need to be absorbed? Yes? Any reason? Sanidhi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
To its respiration process.
For the respiration process. Yes, exactly. For the respiration process, you need oxygen. That's why you need both oxygen and carbon dioxide to be absorbed. Okay. Then transportation of water and minerals from the soil that happen through the root system, actually root hairs, and transportation of food basically produces by this photosynthesis to the leaves and other plant parts of the plants where it's going to be stored, and that is also done using phloems, right? how these are happening. So let's see what diffusion first. So one of the techniques that plants are using, not just the plants, everywhere, diffusion is one of the main things. Diffusion means when there is a high concentration of some matter, so it has natural tendency to spread to the places where it's lacking of or the low concentration. Actually, from the high concentration area to low concentration area, these matter, the particles are spreading. So that is called diffusion. Okay, you can observe this very easily by putting few drops of condensed or few just few, that small particles of condensed to water. If you observe after some time, so this will start spreading. This will start spreading, and ultimately, if you keep this for a long time, it will spread all over, right, in the beaker. What really happened? So you can see here, when the concentration is high, that is basically when you put particles, the condensed concentration is high in that. But you can see low condensed concentration in water. So what will happen? Slowly, this will start spreading. So that is what the diffusion is. So this is how we can feel, we can smell food. This is how we can smell something because it spread, right? This is how, this is how, okay, this is how sometimes okay, when you keep a piece of paper and if you just put a drop of water to that paper, that drop of water will spread all over the paper. This is through the diffusion. So it's many places. Actually, plants are also using diffusion for its transportation process. So this experiment you can easily do, or if it is like, if you cannot find condensed, so you can use some, maybe some coloring, food coloring, a drop of food coloring you can put, and you can see how it spreads slowly without mixing. Let it naturally spread and see. Okay, then, so here they have given some examples. So what are these examples? Right here, when skin of an orange is peeled off, the smell, right? The skin of orange peel is peeled off. You can smell it even you are a little away from this orange. You can feel that, right? Because this orange skin contains volatile materials. They will break and these particles will spread. The volatile materials randomly move through the air and higher concentration area to low concentration area. That is why you can feel the smell. And joysticks, Andunkuru, joysticks, also we can feel it. Even it is in some place, some other place also we can smell it. The reason is this volatility, and also because of diffusion, it spreads, right? Okay, please understand this process. So please write down one heading, right? So heading there. So we couldn't write anything on this. So, okay. Please write transportation of, heading, transportation of air, water, and food. Transportation of air, water, and food inside a plant. Transportation of air, water, and food inside a plant.
Okay, sir.
Method number one, under that, right? Method number one, diffusion. Method one, diffusion. So what is diffusion? I defined that. Diffusion is, yes, some volatile material can spread from low, high concentrated areas to low concentration. So that is called diffusion. Okay, please write down, put a dash and write. Movement of substances, movement of substance from and higher concentration area to lower concentration area. Movement of substance from higher concentration area to lower concentration area. You can even say movement of volatile substance. That is also okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So diffusion, actually air. So this happened to air. Actually, oxygen and carbon dioxide absorbed to the plant leaf through stomata, and that is done through this diffusion. Oxygen through stomata, and also carbon dioxide is taken through stomata through diffusion. Because when it is lacking of, so it uses diffusion technique to absorb it. And also, as a byproduct, oxygen is diffusing out from the leaves, from the stomata to the atmosphere. Actually absorbing of carbon dioxide, right? Absorbing of carbon dioxide, here diffusion of carbon dioxide from atmosphere to the plant leaves. From atmosphere, from the air to the plant leaf. That is also happening, carbon dioxide and oxygen. And also oxygen and carbon dioxide is basically going out. When oxygen is going out, oxygen is basically diffused when it is produced in photosynthesis process. And in the respiration process, carbon dioxide is the output, and also water vapor. Not just the carbon dioxide, water vapor is also diffused from the leaf to the outside for the air. Both will happen. Okay, that is one thing. No need to write down that. So I think you can remember. So carbon dioxide, oxygen, it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. Into the plant leaf or from the plant leaf. Okay, the next one is osmosis. Okay, this can be monitored using balsam plant. Balsam plant කියලා කියන්නේ පූණ්ඩලු නේද? පූණ්ඩලු කියලා තියෙන අර transparent stem එකක් තියෙන එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඔයාලගේ පැත්තේ හැදෙනවා ඒක.
Yes, sir.
Right, you can see that. So that has a transparent stem. So but water you cannot see. But if you use colored water, if you use a food coloring or something with water, and you can see that is absorbed and transported to the plant leaves, because that is really thin skin. It has a really thin skin, and you can see through this stem. So this balsam plant, you have to take without breaking the roots and without breaking the hair roots. So then you have to wash it, because when you take it from the soil, it has some soil and mud. So you have to wash it and carefully wash it and put it into a colored water. You can use red color or maybe purple color, something like that, and color the water and put it into that. Then, so now you have to dip the plant for some time and keep it like maybe 2 hours. If you keep it for 2 hours, you can see this red color water is inside the plant stem. And sometimes if you can see through the leaves slightly, you can see it's in the leaves also, anyway in the venation. So these veins are doing the transportation, so veins are doing the transportation. So venation is basically xylems and phloems, right? So how this happens? Actually, so there's something called xylem tissue. I said that is in the venation. Venation means this one, right? I think you have seen this venation. Narati vinyasha කියලා කියන්නේ. So out from the outside, we can see venation of the plant like this from the outside. Actually, if you analyze what is in the vein, plant vein, so what is inside the plant vein, if you analyze that, okay, you can see the xylem tissue and phloem tissue basically it forms, oh, cannot see that, because it's not visible to the naked eye, right here. So this is how the cells are organized in a vein, right? This is how vein, the cells are organized inside the vein. And if you see this, and you can see xylem which transport water and minerals, and phloem which transport food, are actually inside these veins that you cannot see in your naked eye. But what is inside is that. Okay, I hope. Did you see this? I think you, even though I share the screen, you didn't see. Can you see it now? No.
Can't, sir. Can't, sir.
Okay, just wait. Now.
Now can, sir.
Right. Okay. Now you can see, right? This is actually so venation is this way. So sorry, I couldn't show you. I couldn't share the screen. That's the point. So this is venation. Venation is basically in a plant. You can see these veins, right, in every leaf. So there's a venation pattern. You can see that. And actually, how if you see through these veins, what is inside these veins, and then you can see something like this. But this is a microscopic view. Normally, you cannot see that in your naked eye. And what is inside actually? In this picture, you can see it's xylems and phloems. Xylem transport water and phloem transport xylem transport water and minerals, phloem transport food. Right, that is what inside these veins. Okay, let's move back to our. Okay, then right, xylem tissue. So this, what is this osmosis? So what is happening inside this xylem tissue is called osmosis. So actually, what is this osmosis? If you just okay, so let me explain this experiment to you. This experiment can be done with a tissel funnel, and also you have to use a transparent cellophane layer. Cellophane, I think you know, it's used in this Vesak lanterns and all buckets. Vesak lanterns, that cellophane, red color, blue color cellophanes are there. So cellophane has special feature. That is why, so you cannot use a polythene. You have to use a cellophane, right? There's a specialty why we should use a cellophane without polythene. I'll tell. So there's a reason. Because if you are using polythene or paper, this you cannot see this result. And crystal funnel, and also 500 milliliter beaker, rubber band, and salt solution. Salt solution you have to put into this one. Salt solution you have to put into this funnel, right? Then actually it should be kept in this water in this beaker, or we can use a water basin, right? Simply for this you can use you can also use some transparent glass tunnel, right? But better if it is a tissel funnel. But I think you can find this because you have some help from your mother, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what will happen? What will happen if you monitor this system for some time? You can see the water level will slowly move up. So the reason is this funnel has a special feature. It has a larger this larger part is here, and this is very thin. So very thin and narrow path, and then you can easily see the level. So rather than just using water, just using a pipe. So that is why this shape is assisting you to monitor this and observe this very well. So then you can see this level is moving up. And also if you put a color to this, so then also you can observe, but no need to put a color. just by monitoring the water level, you can understand, okay, so why this system is stable? This system is stable, then why this is moving up? Even the system is stable, no one is pulling, no one is changing the pressure, nothing. If you change the pressure of this, of course, this can happen. But even without the pressure changing, you can see this moves up. The reason is the water external to the salt solution is absorbed through this cellophane. So that is why we are using a cellophane instead of, like, if you use polythene, this won't happen because polythene will not let water go through that, but cellophane will let. But the reason is, here in the salt solution there's a less amount of water now, because concentration is salt is high, therefore the amount of water in the solution is low. Then what will happen, because amount of water is low in this, but high concentration water is there in the external container. So from this, through this thin layer, right, cellophane layer, it absorbs. Actually, this is not diffusion, because diffusion, there is no intermediate layer, but here there is a layer. That is why it is called osmosis, right? Otherwise, you might think, oh, concentration, higher concentration area to lower concentration area, still the same, right? From the higher concentration area to the lower concentration area, this matter is moving. Still the same concept, but why it is called osmosis? The reason is there is a middle layer, right? That middle layer is called semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. So what is semi-permeable membrane? In Sinhala we can call that semi-permeable. Ardha පාරගම්‍ය පටලයක්. පාරගම්‍ය කියලා කියන්නේ අර්ධ පාරගම්‍ය කියන්නේ like it's allowing half of, not half actually, some of the materials to go through its membrane. Actually, cellophane is such thing. Cellophane will not allow salt particles to move, but it will allow water to move through its membrane. Right? That is why we are using cellophane layer. Right? Cellophane is a special membrane. It will allow water to move through, but salt will not move through that. Then you can think of doing something with the cellophane, right? If you have a salt solution, in order to separate water from the salt, also it should help, right? You can try that. Take a salt solution and then put it into, you can use a colorless cellophane, and let water move through the cellophane, and then you can taste it and see, right? Taste it and check whether is it really true. You can taste the water in the cellophane funnel, and also you can check the water which is filtered out. So this concept which they mention here should be applicable that way also. That means it should not allow these salt particles to move through, but it will allow water molecules to pass through. So where you can see these semi-permeable membranes? So these are there in cells, right? These are there in cells. Okay. So this experiment, so here, all right, here. So you can do the same experiment using egg membrane instead of the cellophane, but collecting egg membrane is a bit difficult thing, right? Collecting egg membrane is a bit difficult thing, but that is also acting similar way to this cellophane membrane. Actually, but you can do the experiment using a papaw leaf petiole. Right? So papaw leaf petiole, which is filled with salt solution, you can put it like this, and so you have to find one which is closed from one end, right? So because it also has a membrane which is a semi-permeable one. පැපෝල් බට් එක තියෙනවනේ දෙක පැත්තක් අර වැහිච්ච එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් අපිට. දෙපැත්තම ඕපන් එකක් නෙවෙයි. Right, one side is basically closed. So then you can fill this with salt solution and keep it for some time to observe. And so that will also, you can, like if you monitor the water level, you can experiment, it will also behave in the similar way like we did earlier. So that is also acting, actually that has also a semi-permeable membrane, and through that water dissolves. Water will be taken. So so you can see many minerals are dissolved in the soil water. The root hairs, right? Root hairs absorb these water particles by osmosis, right? So some minerals will be taken in, but not all, because it uses a semi-permeable membrane. This water taken by this osmosis processes then move to upper layer, or to the stem, and to the venation, and to the leaves, and everywhere of the shoot system. So it's absorbed by the root system and sent into the shoot system above, and to the leaves and all. Actually, this is backed by transpiration too. Why transpiration? Because it helps, right? So not just the osmosis, the transpiration. If you can remember, what is transpiration? Yes. Hello, Sanidhi. Are you sleepy? What is transpiration?
Was
Yes. What is transpiration?
process of evaporation of the plant.
Yeah, process of evaporation happen through the plant. In when sunlight present, when the environment is hot, and also less humid, the humidity is low, it increases the transpiration. So so why I said that osmosis is backed by transpiration, because when transpiration happens, there is always a gap, right? Because transpiration absorbs water from the leaves, no? So there will be a gap, the lack of water, that will be filled by osmosis. The transpiration වලින් උඩට වාෂ්ප වෙලා යන වතුර ටික පල්ලෙහින් osmosis වලින් පුරවන. එතකොට ඒක transpiration උදව් වෙනවා, උත්සේදනයක් උදව් වෙනවා, ඒව උඩට ඇදලා ගන්න. Right? That is basically a force acting on osmosis. Right. So see here, you can see. Can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see here the plant. So the leaf evaporation from the stomata, which is called transpiration, it happens. Actually, it moves water up, and then what will happen here? The roots, through osmosis, it will absorb, right? It will absorb water from the root system. Actually, in the middle, so what is the force moving this above is this transpiration, and osmosis is basically getting the water, and evaporation, so the transpiration is moving the water away. So that force basically lead to move this up in xylem.
Okay, sir.
Let's move to your note back. Okay, write down the second one, method 2. Method 2, osmosis. Method 2, osmosis. Okay, what is the difference? It happens to semi-permeable membrane. It is actually a diffusion through a so you can call the same thing diffusion through a semi-permeable membrane. Please write down that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then Now you can see here xylem. So this is the cell view that I show, cell view and the root here. So there is water, but water dissolved with a lot of other materials, but it won't be absorbed because this has a semi-permeable membrane, and through that it absorbs. Then through the diffusion as well as osmosis, it moves to the xylem through this cell to cell movement is there. Okay, a mass flow is basically a process is moving food. Photosynthesis process is basically making food inside the plants because it's autotrophic. And then mass flow is basically what is happening when we are not going to learn technical details about the mass flow here, but that is happening inside phloems. That is the third method 3, mass flow. But please type mass flow is just movement of food, right? Food transportation mechanism in phloems. Method 3, that is mass flow. Okay, again the transpiration thing. Transpiration we have already discussed, but again it's mentioned here. Actually there's a practical, the transpiration. This practical we discussed previously, I guess. I'm not sure whether I did in previous grade or to you. Did we discuss this previously? Covering leaves with a polythene bag and keep it in the sun, keep it in the sunlight for a few hours, then the water can be collected.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay, in the polythene bag, because actually in the transpiration water evaporates, but because of the polythene bag it will be collected by this bag and later cool down, so it will be condensed. This condensed water will be collected in the bottom of this bag. Right? So that is the practical, and the next practical is using a U tunnel. Okay, transpiration, I think you know not right because we have already discussed this previously. And using this U tube, that is not the YouTube that you are watching videos, the U tunnel or U tube, we can use this. You can fill, you can cut a part of a leaf with the stem, and then fix it to the one side of this U, and then put water, and then to measure the level, you can put a slight layer of coconut oil or some oil, even few drops, 2-3 drops of oil, because just to measure the level. And if you keep this set up for some, like this should be like this should be fixed well, and if you keep this for maybe 2 hours, that's enough. I think 1 hour even enough if if it is exposed to the sunlight, or if it is in the dry environment, then evaporation will happen. Actually, when this when this evaporation or the transpiration through this plant leaves happens, so there is lack of water in the plants, like, because the amount of water in the plant leaf will move away. Therefore, there will be a gap. To fill the gap, it will absorb water from this U tube, and then you can see the coconut oil level will move down. Why? Because this is the shape of this is U. When it absorbs, the water level moves up actually, but to fill that, this will go down. That you can observe. That is also to observe what is the process of transpiration, and with the transpiration, what will happen. This is happening inside the tree. That is what I said, that this is powered by previously I said that that is powered by transpiration. Okay, then here the transpiration pull is responsible. Transpiration pull is responsible for continuous ascent of water and nutrition from the roots to the top of the plants. Why? Because it's pulling. There's a gap. It's pulling. Right? The water is evaporated. Transpiration helps the plant in cooling. And when this evaporates, So it's also there. So when we get sweating, it will help our body to normalize. That is why we feel like, so when we run or when we do some activity, so this happened to us also. The water will move away from our body. There is also something like transpiration, right? It's evaporated, but it will help the body to cool down. We have to drink water, but the plant, it doesn't have it doesn't have that kind of mechanism, mouth to drink. Therefore, it absorbs water to its root system. Okay, and so this is actually, I think I discussed. So environment to environment, due to different considerations such as heat, strong wind, strong light, because that promote transpiration. Or when heat is high, it promotes, right? We are also like that when the environment is too hot, really sweat. The reason is the heat, and strong wind is there. Then also our skin will become dry because of we are like it's like again the moisture will send out. So similar that the plants, strong wind is present, so then also the transpiration increase, and the strong light presence, then also the transpiration is increased. But sometimes some plants are there in some dry zones. They have very little amount of water, especially පතොක් වගේ ගස් වල දැක්ලා තියෙනවා. පතොක් තව තියෙනවා අරලිය වලක් පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙනවා මේක. අක්කපාන ඔය වගේ ගල් උඩ එහෙම හැදෙන්නේ. These plants are adapted to really dry environment, and then you can see this thick epiderm is there in aerial parts of that plant. පතොක් වල එහෙම තියෙන මාංශල කඳක් තියෙනවා වගේ මට නිකන් කඳ මහත් වෙලා එහෙම තියෙන්නේ. පත්‍ර ගොල ගත්තම මේවා ස්පින්ස් වගේ. Leaves are reduced to spins. ශීන වූ පත්‍ර නේද? කටුනේ තියෙන්නේ. ඒ පතොක් ගහේ කටු නෙවෙයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒ තියෙන පතොක් ගහේ කොළ. Right? So dry zone plants. These are like I have seen that some people they used to draw this inside houses also, because these are really in this you can see less amount of very less amount of water. Therefore, to protect the water, it has adapted. Here, this is not the leaf, right? You might think this as a leaf, make a leaf. Leaf is what you can see this as needles. Then this is the stem. Stem is adapted to protect water, and leaf is also adapted to protect water, to reduce transpiration. Right? Cactus, patok, and temple trees basically araliya wala එහෙම තියෙන කොළ ගත්තම නිකන් ඉටි වගේ එකක් layer එකක් තියෙනවා. Thick epiderm. Right? And leaves turn into scale leaves, then reducing the size of leaves. And epidermic hair or hair in epiderms. Some plants are having that hair grown in epiderms. Sunflower, pumpkin, like that's why it's like itching when you touch like pumpkin, because there is hair in epiderms to protect water, because it has large leaves, need to protect water. And sometimes in some seasonal plants, the leaves are falling. Rubber, teak-like plants, some seasons the leaves are falling. Right? What is that? Is adaptation. That adaptation is to protect water, to reduce the transpiration. Because otherwise the plant can die. Plant may die because amount of water will transpire. Then no way to take water. And fleshy leaves in aloe vera. Aloe, basically it has fleshy leaves. Fleshy leaves can manjala patra. So rolled leaves during the dry season. Some like here this Ravanan Misai. So Maharavanan. So these plants, I think it's common in some. I have seen this leaves where in the garden, of course, I have seen, but things I have seen this somewhere very common. Cannot remember the place. Sorry. Anyway, so these are the adaptations. These adaptations to protect the water inside the plant. Even if you try to even you try to draw these cactus-like plants inside home, and even if you put water regularly, still this adaptation is there, right? Because even you put water, the plant cannot understand that it's genetics. It's genetically they are adapted to that situation. Even you are putting more water, still the adaptation will be there, because their adaptation is initially to protect water, and they live like that. Okay. Right. Next is similar to transpiration. There's another process happening called guttation. So what is that? So this sometimes you can see in early in the morning, especially again in your area. If you just look at the plant leaves in your garden, then you can see some small drops of water in corner of these leaves, right? So not because of the rain, right? Even after rain also you can see this, but without even raining, so this can be there in the plants. Actually, so water drops from the leaves directly, these water drops are falling down. So that is called guttation. There is also a process of moving water away from the plant leaf. But the reason is not the rain, the reason is not the sunlight, the reason can be high humidity. In Nuareli area, in Badul area, it's misty, right? Misty means like humidity is very, very high in some areas. So it's misty and high humidity is there. Sometimes inside this, what do you call this? Greenhouses. In greenhouses දැකලා තියෙනවනේ ඒවත් ඔයාලගේ පැත්තේ තියෙනව නේද? Greenhouse. Polytunnel.
Yes, sir.
Polytunnels or greenhouses. අර tunnel එකක් polythene එකක් ගහලා හදාගන්නේ. Polytunnel greenhouse තියෙනවනේ. ඒ වගේ ඇතුලෙත් මේක වෙනවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. Because so it is a closed environment. Wind is very, very very narrow winds are there. So because like it's sealed, it's covered, and the humidity is high, especially in the early in the morning. I have seen this in these strawberry farms. Strawberry farms, you can see this, right? Because the humidity is really, really high. Indoor strawberry, not indoor, that polytunnel based farms, right? Okay, so then in that time this guttation happened. Actually, this there are something called hydrothodes. Hydrothodes, let me show, that is not the same thing that was helping in transpiration. So see this hydrothode is a kind of small hole in plant leaf. Some plants, okay, here, this is nice, but I'm not sure whether you have seen something like that. So when a plant has hydrothode, you can see these drops of water in the corner. Hydrothode is something like this here. The cell structure of that is not stomata, right? Don't misunderstand, that is not stomata. Stomata is a different, is a hole, but this is in the corner of the plant, right? Okay, then these hydrothodes help guttation. The difference, these are having similarities, both are actually moving water away, but there are differences too. What are the differences? Here water releases from the form of vapor. This is actually vaporized water in a gas format, but here water in drops, liquid format. Here in the transpiration, it's vapor or the gas. Here in the guttation, It is drops of the liquid. And here, basically, it happens to stomata, but here, hydrothodes. Stomata is, these are small holes in the backside of the leaves, but hydrothode is basically, they are in some special leaves only. That is, they are in the leaves, but specially opened in some leaves. So this hydrothode, that these plants are like, that is where you can see that picture-like images in the early in the morning. And water is here, only pure water is released because the transpiration has osmosis also, and therefore the pure water is filtered. It's not mixed with salts and all. But here the water and salt are released, mixed. It's not pure water in the guttation. Therefore, when a plant is exposed to sunlight, sometimes you can see the corners of these leaves, burning signs in corners of these leaves. පිච්චිලා වගේ තියෙනවා මේ leaves වල අග පිච්චිලා වගේ තියෙනවා ඉර එළියට. මොකද මේක salt එක නියන්නේ. salt එක එනකොට දැන් ඉර එළියට අහු වුණාම වතුර ටික වාෂ්ප වෙලා යනවා. Water will move away. Then salt will remain. And that salt is high concentration, that is basically damaging the plant leaf. Because of the guttation, so I can show you an image. Guttation. So kind of, you cannot say burn, but it's like drying. Okay, something like this. That brown color, yeah, you can see that. It's not burn, actually. The correct word is not burn. Let's say brown marks. Brown, no, it's like dry or something. Okay, here in the leaves also, this here, this is also because of the guttation. Because the salt, high concentration of salt and other minerals will be remain when once it is exposed to the sunlight, then it will damage the leaf itself as a result of guttation. Okay, then this happens during the day and night transpiration, but here mostly during the night and the dawn, early in the morning and the night. When humidity is increased, the transpiration decreases. But here, when humidity is increased, guttation is also increased. So that is why I said both are ways of moving water out from the plant, but the thing is, they are working opposite way, opposite conditions. They're having opposite points when you compare. Okay, that is about this lesson. So it's an easy one. Let's do the activity. I think, okay, you can do this activity alone, right? Please complete all the questions and send me the answers. Then we can move to the next lesson, the next day.
Okay, sir.
Send me the answers in your in WhatsApp.
Okay.
Good night.